And we are live. Welcome back to
Heyo.
another episode of Delusions of Automotive Grandeur. Um, I guess this week we have a special guest, GTI Ben Kenobi, the one and only. Um, Charlie is missing. So, yeah,
Oh,
that's about it.
sorry. Sorry, dudes. I was literally just like prepping images for later, so I got distracted. Hello, everyone. It's good to see. It's good to see both you guys. I barely survived my week. I had like this huge thing at work, like overtime. I would be like the first person there, last person to leave, kind of thing. But managed to survive. It went well. It was only slightly hellish. Did you guys survive your week, or is it just trudging through?
No, I died.
You died? Oh shit! I'm so sorry. I'm so
Yeah,
It's
sorry.
it's
actually
just,
kind of good for me. I'm easing
Oh.
back into the office now,
Oh, you actually have to go in now?
twice a week now.
Eh.
It was just a nice change of pace.
Oh, to see humans?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, man. I was actually like starting to go into work like one day a week, literally just to see humans. Like I wasn't even required to, but I was really like losing my shit. like, yeah. Anyway, but yeah. So I am. I think we've got sort of a big shit. I'm not ready to share my screen yet. Um, all right, let's do this, Brent, because we're totally planned. Everyone watches. This is totally planned out. Brent, tell us what cars did you see at the gas station this week?
there was a Rolls Royce Wraith out there earlier. Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Um, Two-tone white black. That's been about it.
I think I have
Really.
to look it up and see what that looks like.
What color was the
Car?
interior? If you
I,
could.
I think the dash was red, at
Oh,
least
yeah.
from what I can tell. It's hard to see because I'm 9 stories up, so
Oh, okay.
makes that side
Oh,
a
okay.
little bit
I
tougher.
thought you were like standing there.
No. There's just the gas station. The only gas station downtown is right across from me. So at times I'll hear Lambos revving their engines, Ferraris, so on and so forth. So um, yeah, I really haven't had time to take that take a look outside. Really,
Because I know you can get some pretty ridiculous colors on like that level of car.
yeah. I mean, I would say majority of the time. Actually, you know what? Last week there was the obviously it was a wrap, but it was a Tiffany blue Lambo
Ooh.
Aventador.
Oh yeah.
It
I
was
think on the
interesting.
Wraith, I just saw a picture. You can get like a stainless steel hood in the middle and then paint on either side. Is that a thing, or was I hallucinating when I saw that?
I think
I was hallucinating.
hallucinating.
We'll write it
If you
down too.
pay enough, you probably could.
There you man. Okay, wow. So, in the interest of being fully prepared for this show, I am still emailing myself pictures to then display in the show. Rarely do people actually get like entertainment where people are actually producing it as they're producing it, which I think really makes sense what I just said. Download. Okay. So, GTI Ben Kenobi has an announcement. I'm going to, Brent, am I cool to share my screen?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to do that now.
So, I'm not just exclusively a GTI owner anymore.
Oh,
Just
here we go.
yesterday, I added a new vehicle to the fleet,
Drum roll.
a 94 4Runner. So
Oh,
it's a second gen 4-wheel drive V6
nice.
automatic.
Uh-huh.
Um, I saw it on Facebook Marketplace a few days ago, and I've kind of been in the market for a second, mostly third gen 4Runner, but
Yeah.
third gen 4Runners, especially in clean condition, are very expensive. Like $7,000 to $8,000 with
Holy
well
cow.
over 200K on them. And I don't have that kind of money to just throw around.
Yeah.
So this one, it looked clean. I hit the guy up after work yesterday and said, I'm interested. I want to take a look at it. I get to it and I go underneath it. There's there's CV grease everywhere. It's dirty, but the frame, differential, and all of the suspension components, pretty much zero rust. And anybody who knows,
Yes.
especially these 90s Toyota, the trucks and the 4Runners, they rust plague these things. And it still does to this day, even Tacomas.
And just to be absolutely clear, the clear coat has failed on the hood, right?
Oh, the hood and the roof.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna
what
say
they
the
do.
roof as
That's
well.
what they do. Yeah.
And it kind of, you can't really see it well in this picture, but there is kind of like this 90s-esque pinstripe going on, or like
Oh no.
pinstripe, but like that vinyl.
I
going
remember
down the
those.
side. In a perfect world, I would repaint it, but that would cost way more than what I paid for the car anyway.
So the way I see it, man, is if in the condition it's in, it's not going to deteriorate, then don't bother until you have money later.
And the thing about this is, as long as it's not like totaled or damaged, it's not going to sell any lower than what I paid for it. Like, it's a running and driving truck. Everything works on it. Like, the 4-wheel drive works, all the windows work.
Do I see no sunroof, which I would actually see as a positive?
What was that?
Do I actually see no sunroof, which I would consider to be a positive?
No sunroof.
Excellent. So no.
It's an SR5 also, so it's technically like top of the line.
Yeah, I remember. Got chrome bumpers, baby, and they don't actually look like it's been in any fender benders or anything. The front one at least looks straight.
It's been in an accident like 10, 15 years ago, and it was a California car its entire life in the Bay Area up until 29 last year.
Okay.
There's basically no maintenance records after the first owner, which was like in 2003. So
how many miles does it have?
214,000.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
So it needs work. It needs the passenger side front axle replaced because the boot's torn, and a new axle is $40 on Rock Auto. So
I mean, does it make sense to do both of them at the same time then?
The other side looks like it's been replaced already.
Okay, so basically, if the boot goes bad, then the grease gets out and the joint wears prematurely because there's less grease. Or dirt gets in the joint.
Get contaminants in the joint.
Okay. How do the back ones look?
Perfect.
Wow. Dude, that'll work, man.
And it's not sagging in the rear like all of these do. Like the springs over time, it kind of gets a Carolina squat going.
Yeah. Is that is it coil springs in the back?
Yeah.
Okay. Brent's laughing because he knows all I know is leaf springs. Can you add leaf springs to the back?
I don't think so.
I'm fucking with you. I mean, messing with you.
I know I don't know. The parts are interchangeable with the truck, but I don't know to what extent.
Is the interior gray or tan?
It's beige. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. No, you got the Jag colors, man. It's basically a Jag.
British Racing Green on beige.
With 80s-ish stripes. Yeah. I'd say 90s-ish stripes, but they started doing those in the 80s on these. So, and on the trucks. Dude, that's fucking fantastic. I mean, darned fantastic. That's really great,
the day
man.
the head gaskets blow because they all do on the V6.
Oh, these do? Well, I mean, at 214,000 miles, either it's already happened and someone addressed it, or I just wouldn't race it too much.
I mean, you kind of have to race it to get up to speed because these, I mean, in regular form, they had 150 horsepower and 180 pound-feet of torque. But this is a California car, so it has all the emissions equipment on it. So like secondary air injection, a beefier catalytic converter.
I'll take it in exchange for no rust, man.
Yeah,
I think it's worth it.
And the price I got it at, I was like, dude, this guy's way undercharging. I kind of felt bad.
Don't tell us the price. Was it under 5?
Try half of that.
What? I would have bought it for that, man. Shit. I mean, darn. Wow. 6 slug wheels because it's hardcore. Oh no, you got to
Yeah.
return it, man. It's missing the cover for the hub on the front wheels, man.
Yeah, the
What the
fronts are missing the
It's a piece of shit, dude. It's missing that cover. Mm. All right. This is the glorious thing. We need updates regularly, okay?
yeah.
Okay. It's time to
I'm
move
gonna-
on to the next vehicle
Yep.
that was acquired this week. This is
Much cooler is what it is.
I think you could say that. Now, given this is a reproduction, and to be honest, I did a little research. I'm not really sure how accurate this is. This might just be a backyard special. My uncle just bought this. Please excuse his chainsaw carved alligator that's right next to it. It's now changed to a post near where he lives. Yeah, it's supposed to be a reproduction of like an 1898 or 1900 Ford. The Fords I found from that era actually look more like a sleigh with fancier wood curves and stuff to them or whatever. But regardless, the story is that he and by the way, note the lack of brakes. I'll explain that later. He was he lives in a tiny town somewhere, and he noticed, and there was like a junk pile in the backyard, and he thought he saw something like this, and he looked, and of course his dream was like, oh my god, what if it's a real one, but the thing was, eventually he just stops by. It's a tiny town, everyone kind of knows each other, and when he saw the guy walk from his yard to the post office, yes, the town is that small, my uncle walked over and kind of intercepted him and said, hey, I was driving by the other day, I noticed that, and would you mind if I go take a look at it? The guy's like, no, go knock yourself out, go check it out. It was literally in a trash pile behind the guy's house, just this mound of stuff. And so Jim looks at it and he's obviously it's a reproduction, but he's like, God, this thing's kind of cool. I mean, someone put some effort into this. Like, I'll show you some more pictures in a second. Look at the upholstery and everything. I mean, someone, put something into this. And so he talks to the guy, whatever. He ends up getting it for like $400 or something like that. And it's got it steers with a tiller. It has a Briggs and Stratton American-made, just sort of random engine. You can just buy engines from them, to put in whatever you want to put it in. And it has some sort of like centrifugal clutch kind of brake thing where when you get off the gas, I guess it sort of engine brakes kind of. Let me get you some more pictures. Here's he thought that this might be original, but I still think it looks a little modern. The oil lamp.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks modern.
Yeah, and here's a picture of the back. And this one looks actually more like it might not be modern, but then again, it looks just like the front one. But you'll notice the lack of brakes is chain drive on the wheels. It's just super fun, man. It's just like the kind of thing that,
like all the hay.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally in a trash pile. I can't state that strongly enough. Like, it was in a trash pile. There's the tiller that you still steer with. I guess there's the horn, and maybe you squeeze something. It's now fallen off. I don't know. He's obviously going to redo all the wood. Looks like there's a little electric light strapped here. I think whoever owned it before actually managed to get it to be street legal.
Well, I mean, there is a plate on the back.
Yeah. And there is a brake light, I think, in that one lamp over here. They retrofitted it with a brake light. So again, someone put time into this thing, by the way, look at the cheesy, like obviously from Lowe's brass bedpost things that are right here. Yeah, it's going to be really fun for him, and it's just something I thought you guys might enjoy. Yeah. Okay. So next in the list of Steven crap from this week, I was getting into my, basically the best car humanity has created yet, which is a Fiesta ST. And turned on my lights after a hard day's work, relatively speaking. And I noticed this car in front of me. Nothing exceptional here, right? Nothing exceptional until I noticed this. It has drilled slotted rotors. Now, I'm pretty sure this is some sort of just generic ass like Nissan SUV, but I don't know what struck me. To me, I mean, like, do you think this person like sought this out, or do you think they know so little about cars? Someone's like, here's a rotor for your car. It'll work.
Most likely the second.
Yeah.
Went to Rock Auto, found the cheapest option. Happened to be drilled and slotted.
Little do they know that 2 weeks later they're going to be cracked.
Anyway, I just like that because it's all about high performance. And finally, we're going to end with, this is the only deal that's better than what you got, Ben. And I already texted this to you guys the other day. This $2,500. And for our viewers, you're thinking, oh, Steven, it's a used fire truck. They're always like $5, whatever. Okay. I'm going to click the next button. Booyah. Look at that, baby. 4-wheel steering with the position in the back. $2,500. Now, per pound, that has to be the best deal on a vehicle ever.
I mean, you could probably scrap it for more than that.
I mean, that's heresy to even say that, but you're right. I think you could.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to, but that's.
I mean, I
wonder if the ladder still works.
I mean, straight up. I mean, it'd probably be really precarious, because it's probably hydraulic based, Brent. It's been sitting or whatever, but.
All the fittings are.
Yeah. But I mean, like, does any part of y'all kind of go, ooh, I want that?
No.
Oh. Brent, your inner child is dead.
I never wanted to be a fireman.
GTI Ben Kenobi?
Maybe not that one, because I mean, unless I have someone else in the back who knows what they're doing.
That was
how am I
going to
move it?
Okay, here's a question, Brent. No, that's GTI Ben Kenobi. He's the guest. Forget Brent. All right,
whatever.
So let's say Brent's driving this, okay, from the cab, and you are operating the back wheels, and you're drunk as a skunk. Can you get a DUI?
Yes.
Brent, your thoughts?
Yes. You're technically driving wheels.
But I can't make the car go.
That doesn't matter.
If you're steering.
Honestly, if it wouldn't completely disrupt this highly professional episode, I could totally text someone who's married to a police officer and get some input. I would love to know what he would say. He would just say yes immediately and say, Steven, stop calling me on a Friday. But anyway, but I just, my brother's idea was that it would be really fun if one was wealthy enough to buy it and donate it to like a park for kids to play on or something, But it actually looks kind of precarious for children.
I would hope they have tetanus shots.
Yeah.
I was at my primary care physician last fall, and she was like, yeah, I'm looking through your shots, and I just realized we don't have a record of your tetanus shot in here. And she's like, is yours up to date? I'm like, honestly, I don't really pay attention. My docs usually just say you need this. I'm like, go ahead, And so she's like, well, let me ask you. She's like, do you have any hobbies where you're around rusty metal? And I laughed, and she's like, what's up, Steven? I'm like, I restore old cars. She's like, go get it, and told her assistant to go get it for me. So that was that. Yeah. So, Mr. Ben Kenobi, Dr. Ben Kenobi, not really true. Tell us about, don't tell us where you work, because we don't really talk about that stuff in here, but let's just say it's a production facility for, like, it's a blue collary, engineeringly though, major large metal things type place. What is the car culture there? It's a manufacturing facility. I'll tell people it's a big, big, big factory, one of the world's biggest.
It's very diverse, actually.
But okay. What's the most common thing there?
V6 Challengers.
Are they at least the all-wheel drive one?
Nah. No, they're from like 2008.
Okay, I'm going to cut to the chase. Tell us about the trucks.
Oh, they're all squatted.
What, they're squatted? I thought they were giant things, dude. I thought that's they were like these huge,
yeah, they're big, but they're squatted.
What does that mean?
The Carolina squat?
That we talked about last week.
No, I know about that, but if you have a giant ass truck, what the fuck is squatting? I always thought, every place I've ever lived, when you have a giant ass truck, you go up.
Yeah, they lift it in the front and squat it in the back to make it look like you're towing something. Meanwhile, I've probably done more towing with my
Brett's like they can only afford the front suspension. I bought half a lift kit, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. And the wheels are like they they stretch tires like stance kids do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The wheels have stupid offsets.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's totally for the memes and the looks more than anything.
All the
And
cool
are they-
kids do it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm uncool. My GTI doesn't have negative 19 degrees of camber, so
Hey man, you could do it this weekend. So are they? But you've told me in the past too that like the truck people can be kind of judgmental towards other types of cars.
I mean, that's not exclusive to where I work, but it's kind of the Buy American is very strong there.
Mhm.
And when you point out that their Silverado is made in our southern neighbors, they get very angry. And when you tell them that their Dodge Ram, or it's not a Dodge Ram anymore, but their Ram 1500 is made by our northern neighbors, they get very mad.
I mean, the Canadians really are jerks. I'm kidding. Canada's awesome.
They make damn good cars too.
They do. Actually, they do pretty much everything well, except beaches and beach culture.
Ford Crown
They really suck
Victoria
at
was
beach
made in
culture.
Canada.
What'd you say?
Ford Crown Victoria and the Panther cars were made in Canada.
Oh. Huh. Well, okay.
Yep.
All right, so I have a Mustang story. Oh shit, I didn't send the picture. Okay, well, I'll tell the story and then we'll hand it off to, again, very prepared for this. I'm going to tell the story and I'm going to pass it off to y'all for an exciting follow-up, and then I will find the picture to support what I'm saying. I was crawling underneath the Mustang and just bored. There's literally nothing to do and I've got a big ass flashlight, and I've had I'm going to sound like a total jerk on this, but I have an air conditioned insulated garage. And I've had the AC running all day. It's like being in the living room. Oh, that's the pinky. I guess that means I don't know what that means. Wait, I think I do. And that's awful. But
It's from SpongeBob.
oh, okay. So I'm crawling under the car because why not? You have an old car. Maybe you'll find something interesting down there. So I'm crawling around underneath the back of the Mustang with this big ass flashlight. I'm actually kind of impressed. I'm like, there's a couple spider webs to be expected. 60 years of dirt, but there's no rust surprises and stuff. It actually is better. The car constantly surprises me how good it looks underneath. And so I've got the flashlight. I'm just looking around, and I look at the passenger side spring plate. So for those of you who don't know, when you have a solid axle, Brent one day aspires to have one of those. Probably not. It has you have the axle, and you have a plate underneath it, and you have two U-bolts that go. I guess put my hand up here, the plate, and then you have like the axle runs across here, and they have two U-bolts that go over the top, and then you bolt them from underneath on the plate. And what this does is it holds the axle to your leaf spring, but also on the leaf spring is a pin that goes into a hole in the middle of the plate. And what that does is it locks the axle's ability to rotate away from 90 degrees relative to the axle. Okay, so you have the drive shaft and you have the axle, and you want those to essentially be 90 degrees. The back of the car would be down here. We're looking down at it. So the little post on the leaf spring locks into a hole on the plate, and it keeps the whole back end perpendicular to itself. That's when they're installed correctly. So I had some welding done 12 years ago in that car. I'm assuming that's when this happened, but to tell you the truth, the way it looks at the patina, it could have been longer. And I had sort of shimmied over to the driver's side and looked at the same thing. And what I found is that the little post on the leaf spring wasn't coming through the hole in the plate. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I wonder if it just sheared off or something. So then I looked a little closer, and I could kind of see, if I looked in the plate, I could see like, oh, fuck me. Because there's literally at this point, there's not really anything holding the axle from moving forward and back other than some friction, with the U-bolts and everything. And so in realizing how long it had been since that car may have had even those parts touched, I realized I'd probably driven the car like 3,000 miles like this easily, interstate, everything, cliffs, near cliffs. Don't want to be near cliffs when your axle falls off kind of shit. And so I got out from underneath the car and I got a tape measure. What I did was I took the this plate as a back wheel, I took the other wheel, and then you have the arch around the wheel, and then you have like the car going forward this way. And on the driver's side, I measured the distance from here to the metal, and I did the same thing on the other side. It was off by 5/8 of an inch. So my car has been like crabbed the entire time I've owned it.
And you never noticed it?
I never know. I mean, it's got that loosey-goosey steering, so I'm like, I guess this is the way it drives. And so just to top it off, you guys, I believe at least one of you has met my cousin Joe, a bit of red hair, So Joe had aligned the car back in, with shims and everything back in like 2008 or 9. And I remember him saying something about the alignment being weird, but I could tell, I kind of sensed at the time he was being polite, like he was concerned with all the alignments he had done, that something that was that crooked had probably been in a wreck, and he just didn't want to hurt my feelings. That's how I read it, Joe, if you're watching this, because I texted him, he might be. But I read it as something like, he's like, I don't want to hurt Steven's feelings, but I kind of think it's been in a wreck. I don't know. So I looked at his alignment figures, and I had like the, I don't know if it's toe. I guess it's toe. On the passenger side was positive like a ½ inch, and the driver's side was negative ½ inch. So it's just
crab walking up.
Yeah. Anyway, but thankfully it's not been in a wreck. It was just very poorly reassembled at some point. So anyway, I was going to pull out the alignment picture, but I'm way the hell too lazy to do something that simple. Anyway, did you see any cool cars on the way to work or anything this week, Ben?
I mean, it's 4:00 in the morning when I go to work, so I don't really see many.
So it's just headlights.
No. Well, it's all headlights on my rearview mirror, because the only people going to work in where I live work at the same place I do at that time.
Wow, oh man, this is nuts. Hey, we got an animal. There's got to be at least one animal in every episode. I don't know where the hell mine is.
It's
okay. So question. What American magnate, I shouldn't say magnate, kind of magnate, I'm pretty sure that's a word, / engineer / businessman / that's a car guy who works as executives in car companies. Which one of those worked at BMW and may have had some part in developing the 3 Series BMW, which I did not know until this week? Any guesses? Bob Lutz.
Oh, really?
I had no idea. I saw it somewhere randomly. I immediately emailed myself, which I do on the show. So I'd have, I can pull it up before we do it every week. And it says after leaving the Marines, apparently he was a Marine. That's pretty awesome. He spent 8 years in with GM in Europe before joining BMW, serving as the executive vice president of sales for 3 years. He takes some credit in development of the BMW 3 Series, as well as their motorsport division. Now, look, that's Wikipedia, and it's not cited, but I read somewhere else corroborating some of that stuff. And I was just wondering if you guys had any idea about that. I did not. No.
I know it'd be nowadays the person responsible for the Kia Stinger, Albert Bierman, came from the M division at BMW.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I think
a few other. I don't know.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, because Kia was like, we need you to start our performance division, now the Veloster N, stateside, the i30N everywhere else. Those are his brain children.
Oh, no. I think I found a BMW I want. This isn't good. It's unattainable. I mean, all of BMWs are unattainable. All right. Well, I'm just going to confess it. Look, I love BMWs. I think they're overpriced, but I guess we learned in that segment a few weeks ago, actually, they aren't. I don't really want one other than a BMW 2002 with round taillights. That aside, but I found one I really want, guys. I want a BMW M1.
Don't we all?
Oh my God. And the racing version with the spoiler. Oh, Whatever you do, anyone watching this, don't Google pictures of the BMW M1. I think I want to inappropriately touch one. Anyway. Yep. It's all my bullet points, man. Shit. Do we have any chat things?
Are you kidding me?
I was your chat.
You were the chat. Damn
He's
it.
in this show right now.
This is ridiculous, man.
Nope. Don't have anything.
Is there anyone viewing?
Myself.
How is 50% of your views?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, the whole point of this is just to have fun. If anyone else actually
Yeah.
wants to watch it, that's just icing on the cake.
Yep.
I mean,
Pretty much. Or
You're making
listen,
millions off this.
whichever way. Yeah. You don't get a cut. Sorry, GTI Ben Kenobi.
Damn.
It goes straight back into the show.
he's loaded, dude.
Yes.
He's out there buying like collectible Toyotas like they're nothing. He's buying them like they're
Yeah.
like $2,500 or something.
Next week we'll get a picture of that fire truck.
Yes, please, someone buy that. Oh my God. Does anyone want to go in with me?
I have better things to buy. Sorry.
How would you move it somewhere if it didn't run? It's too. You can't put it on an 18-wheeler trailer.
All right.
I never thought
You
of
can
that.
get one of those like 18-wheeler tow trucks to move it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I would really take a special audience for something like that. Anyway, I always wondered too, like, like fire trucks are crazy expensive, And after Katrina, there was like a local company that made them, and I'm not Katrina, after 9/11, and local people sort of like, donated money to this place. I think it was called like Ferrara Fire Trucks or something like that. I can't remember. It was in, I think, Hammond, Louisiana. And, like a basic fire truck, nothing like crazy or huge. They're over $1 million, and
Yep.
I think the locals in Louisiana, they raised up enough money to buy like 2 of them. And they just literally put some firefighters in and just drove them to New York and handed the keys to them, It was really cool because after Katrina, they did the same thing for Louisiana. But my point of this is that, like the new equipment is just so expensive, that it makes me wonder like why municipalities sometimes just don't buy some of this old shit for $2,500. I mean, I know it might take $50,000 to get it decently to spec or something. Maybe because it has to work,
Well, yeah, that's gonna be the main thing. It has to work.
Shit, the water pump's broken again, Jim.
Well, yeah. Speaking of which, how's your water doing? Get that fixed yet?
What water? What are you talking about? What?
There we go.
I did get the Falcon shipped.
That's better.
That's a start.
At least one thing.
Yeah, I got the most important thing done, Yeah, it's really weird getting a car shipped, man. It's like, especially because it's not like I've insured it, By the way, the insurance is $83 a year. Yeah. And that was for a agreed value of like $12,000. So
How?
Haggerty, How old is the Toyota again? 94? 26 years? So you could do vintage on it. Well, I guess you want to drive it more than that. So
No, I'm not putting vintage plates on it.
Okay. Yeah.
It's gonna be the ship. It's gonna be the. I almost gave away where it worked. It's gonna be the. It's gonna be the work back and forth car, and also I want to do eventually once I get the suspension and axle sorted, the timing belt. Do some like beach driving.
So you want to start to make it rust. It'll be fun. That would freak me out, man.
And just wash it off, and I might even put like preemptively put like an undercoating on it.
Yeah. Well, you're just talking to someone who's hypersensitive to this shit because I have 50, 60-year-old cars, and it's like, I live down the street from a place where they might store that sodium stuff, and it's, I'm afraid it'll get in the air. I'm kidding. Anyway,
also do some overlanding maybe eventually. I need to see how reliable it is.
yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing too is, I mean, let's say you did blow up the engine. There's probably others to get. You know what I mean? Like, I think that was probably a pretty common engine in various Toyotas, right? Like,
I would swap in the 4-cylinder.
oh, interesting.
The
Would you keep it
22
naturally
R.
aspirated or?
You got to go twin turbo.
What he said.
It's the only
NOS.
way you can go.
What about NOS?
The
Um,
22 RE is way more reliable than the
Oh, I know that engine.
6.
I almost bought one of those trucks. It's gone, by the way.
Oh, it is.
I got to call 1.5 hours before someone else is coming to look at it. I'll talk about it off air.
Wow. All right. All right. On that note, then we're gonna end
Tragic
this show now.
Ugh.
As Steven's crying in the corner. No big deal. We'll leave it at that. All right. Thanks for joining in, and
Click
till
like,
next time.
Subscribe.
we'll subscribe. I already subscribed, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Spotify. iTunes. Notification bell.
I have to
Famous.
upload those episodes like 5 right now.
I'm gonna get you when we're super famous, Brett. I'm gonna buy you a Mark IV Supra. That's the good one,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
And I'm gonna put a Ford engine in it.
Okay.
And
I'll just grab a 2JZ from somewhere else and
oh no, I'm gonna
Put that
weld that
back in.
fucker in there. I'm gonna put so much metal. I'm just gonna keep welding. Kill the episode.
on that note, have a good one.